What's going on? What is this?
You have promoted escape rooms for education in the past. Can you elaborate onto why you have done that?
Well, it's because escape rooms are great immersive team-based activities. You're working together to solve challenges, to find hidden things, and solve puzzles. They're about teamwork and communication. You have to use real-world skills in order to figure things out. And at the heart, escape rooms are simulations, and we've used simulations for training and education for a long time.
But we have noticed there are problems bringing escape rooms into classrooms. Why is that?
Well, before I continue, could you let my hands free? I can't lecture without my hands. Thank you. Much better. So the problem with escape rooms in classrooms is that they don't really match. Escape rooms are really good for small groups of people, and classrooms, it's, at least in our industrialized education model, which has its own problems, are about large groups of people. Escape rooms need a special space and a lot of resources, both in the amount of stuff you need and people resources in order to run successfully. And you don't really have that in a classroom when you're managing a lot of students. If you change up the escape room and run it with everyone in the class at once, you could do that, but then there's going to be a lot of students that are just standing by and not really engaging with what's going on. And if the challenges are tied into the learning outcomes, then they're not going to get the learning outcomes. Now, good reflection afterwards can help with that, but it's just not that immersive of an experience. The most successful integration I've seen in escape rooms and in schools is where the escape room is an after-school or lunchtime experience. I've seen escape room clubs work quite well, where students create their own escape rooms for other students to play as an extracurricular after-school activity.
So, teachers trying to use escape rooms in their classrooms may run into significant challenges.
Well, that's why I'm not focused as much about escape rooms in classes, but more escape games in classes, which are games that use escape room concepts as part of their design principles. I've written a book with Liz Cable that's going to be coming out in early 2021 about escape games in the classroom. We talk about different game shapes, which are different forms your game can take. So something that's pretty common, you may have heard of, are puzzle boxes or breakout boxes. If I had one, that would be a lot easier. Oh! Thank you. Well, that'll be useful. So a puzzle box, the idea is that rather than trying to get out of a room, you're trying to get into a locked box. And you're doing that by working through a series of locks. Now, Breakout EDU was the first company that really talked about this model and promoted it widely. The idea of the hasp comes from Breakout EDU. So the hasp holds a series of locks. And then each challenge that you do unlocks one lock. And when you've done all the challenges, you get the box open. Now, one of the challenges with Breakout EDU is that you needed to have one box and a set of locks for each group in the class. That can get expensive quite quickly. There's some solutions to that. One is that you have the box and locks on the teacher's desk, and as the students complete their puzzles and challenges at their stations, they then come up and they can try their answers in the locks. But there's some other ways as well. Do you have something to write on? Oh, well, thank you. So one idea is to have stations around the classroom. So in the stations model, what you have are boxes in the corners of the classroom. And then the students are in the middle working on challenges. And when the students finish a challenge in a group, they take the answer to that challenge and go to one of the stations and unlock the single locked box at that station. They get some information, they get another puzzle, they get something to help them solve a big meta puzzle at the end of it, and they go back and continue working. Another method is a round robin method. And so in that method, what happens is you start a group of students at each station, and then after a certain period of time, you tell the students to rotate to the next station. And what that's going to do is that's going to keep people moving around the room and seeing different challenges, but they're going to be doing each challenge one at a time. What that's going to do is allow you to control the flow of the game. Then you can have different kinds of experiences. You could have a little mini escape room, you could have an observational experience, and have the students have some variety every 10 minutes of class. These models are actually inspired by another model, and that's the model of the puzzle hunt. Now, puzzle hunts are games where the students all are at their tables in groups. They get a packet with some puzzles in it, and as they solve each challenge or each puzzle, it feeds into one large meta puzzle. Once they've solved that meta puzzle, they take that information to the teacher and say, look, we've got the solution. The teacher then gives them the next packet of puzzles. So it allows you to do this kind of escape game experience without needing to have all the locks and all the stuff. You're just needing paper and pencil and packets. One of the challenges of escape rooms in classrooms is that you may not have a dedicated hour to let the students play the game. You may just have small periods of time to do that. Liz Cable's suggestion for that is a game shape called serial stories. In serial stories, in every week or every day of class, you have a small challenge. So maybe there's a 10-minute challenge every Monday for the semester. and that challenge, they're all narratively connected, they're continuing a story, but it requires you as the instructor to prepare a lot less because you're only preparing everything for a single challenge. Everyone works on that challenge together, you debrief that challenge together, and then the next week you continue. A nice thing about that is you can get input from the students as the weeks go on as to which way the story should go.
But what if we can't get close to each other? How do we do these face-to-face games?
The most common tool that I see used in education is using Google Forms and form validation. So rather than have a lock, you have the puzzle on the screen and then there's a Google form and you have the form validation set up so only the right answer will let the players move on to the next form. You could also use PowerPoint for this. So in a PowerPoint presentation, you can link different areas of a screen to other slides in your PowerPoint deck. So you could make a whole interactive game where you're looking at the screen and then you click on your answers and that takes you to other slides to explore it. The final idea is to take a page out of what's going on in recreational escape rooms right now, and that is where you have a video chat-based escape room. So the concept would be you'd have your class all on video chat, and you have the game set up in front of you. And what you're going to do is you're going to be the person in the game. You're going to be the camera. You're going to hold the camera, point it at different elements and puzzles, and ask the room to help you solve the puzzles. So it's creating kind of an escape room type experience, but the advantage of it over a traditional escape room is that everyone in the class is seeing the challenges, and so everyone gets to see what's going on at the same time. So it actually can help you deal with a big group with a more of escape room type model using a video-based escape room.
Thank you. We will deliver this to the educators and we will see if this helps.
Oh, but before you go, one of the things I always do when I look at escape games is I always want to ask why. Why do certain things happen? So I've got to ask you, why 7 minutes? Hey, where'd you go? Hey, come back here.